We are bricks and minifigs. We steal from other people. If you have no idea what's going on right now with the whole bricks and minifigs situation, here's a quick breakdown. A man by the name of Brian Mansell was looking to sell his father's Lego collection after his father had fallen ill. So he did what a lot of people probably would have done and went to bricks and minifigs. He wrote up a consignment contract and everything was going good with the first owner, Crystal Gorman, and her husband. Now, about a year into this, Crystal and her husband have to move. They contact corporate and tell them, hey, we are looking to, sell the franchise. We, are looking for guidance, yada, yada, yada. Corporate pulls their franchise license and basically tells them, we're done. We will find a new owner of the store. They do just that. They find Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson. Now, one of these two scumbags pulls up to the store and basically kicks Crystal out. She tells him that, hey, this inventory is not mine. This is someone else's, and I need to make sure I know what's accounted for so that I know how much I have to pay him, how much I owe, what I need to get back. And Crystal has footage to back these claims. She had her security cameras running when this all occurred. Now, on the phone of one of the new owners is Kai McAllister, a C-suite executive of Bricks and Minifigs Corporate. He basically says, whatever consignment deals you have, whatever business deals you have going on, he will have to assume he is the new owner, and we need you to get out. They even threaten to call the cops on her, so she eventually leaves. She tells Brian, the owner of all these sets, hey, I don't know what's going on. They kicked me out. And so Brian calls the store and asks what's going on, and they're like, not that it's your business, but Crystal no longer works here, and we are the new owners. And he's like, well, that store's whole inventory is mine. Brian goes to the store to try and resolve this, and he has his consignment documents, he has his contract, he has his Excel sheets printed out with all of the inventory. He is ready to go. He eventually gets trespassed from the store. Now, I mentioned that Brian's father was ill, and in all of this, I'm posting this probably on June 5th. He did not tell his dad about this until June 4th, that any of this was going on. And because of that, he did not want to reach out to any of the mainstream media platforms that his dad might see, like, a regular news station. So that's where Reckless Ben enters. Before Ben, there was actually a group of YouTubers that were helping Brian, and Bricks and Minifigs reached out to them and basically said, if you guys keep doing this, we're going to sue you guys. And these YouTubers just didn't have the resources to put up that fight. So that's when Brian reaches out to Ben, and Ben's like, interesting story, and it's family friendly. If you're unaware of Ben and his content, he does a lot of investigative work. He does documentary style YouTube videos, and often his videos are not monetized. So a family friendly topic would suit his channel very well. Ben meets with Brian. He gets all the context. He understands what's going on. He goes out to Oregon and he starts his video. Now, Ben tries all types of ways to get the Legos back. First, he just goes into the store and tries to get them. He meets Amanda, the manager of the store, and she instantly calls the cops on him. Like, I think it's less than 10 minutes into the interaction. The cops are called and he's trespassed from the store for life. So that kind of already put a wrench in the whole plan of getting the Legos back, right? Without ways to A, contact the owner of the store because Amanda, the manager, would not give them the number, and B, go back to the store, they were thinking about ways to obtain the owner's number. They cooked up this absolute SNL skits of a plan to basically get one of the workers on their side and eventually give Ben, the owner's number to him. They were successful in this, and they just gave Josh a call. Josh being Josh Johnson, one of the new owners who took over after Crystal. In this phone call, he plays dumb, he acts like he doesn't know about the Legos, and then he just starts throwing a fit and telling Ben, you want these Legos back? Come and sue me. You want them back? Sue me, bro. Sue me, bro. He's such a chud, bro. Such a chud. So Ben's like, okay, let's go to court. Ben is not scared of court. He has done multiple videos using legal loopholes to get things done in his videos, and this is like literally right up his avenue. So they start cooking up ways for, them to end up in court against Bricks and Minifigs. The first way they try is to get Bam to sue Ben for impersonating them so that they end up in court and then Ben can countersue. They do this by basically creating a business, a real business called We Steal From Old People. And the whole gimmick is that they put Bricks and Minifigs logo on top of the We Steal From Old People. So the slogan is Bricks and Minifigs, but the title is We Steal From Old People. But it reads Bricks and Minifigs, We Steal From Old People.
There it is for your viewing pleasure.
Ben makes signs, he makes shirts, and he goes out and basically stands not on the property of the store, but very close to it, and starts selling these shirts and these signs and telling people about what's going on. And so when the cops are called on them for doing this whole stunt, the friend of Ben, he basically says, oh, well, you're going to have to take that up with corporate. We steal from old people. That's not a me issue. And because they actually have set up this real business, We Steal From Old People, everything they're saying is technically legal and just basically a taste of their own medicine from Bricks and Minifigs. Bricks and Minifigs had said, oh, well, that's a corporate issue. You're going to have to talk to the CEOs. You're going to have to talk to the big guys. But then when Ben pulled up to the CEO's office, he's like, that's a franchise issue. I don't know what you're talking about. So they're basically spitting it right back in their face while the cops are there, called on them for doing whatever they're doing. Literally on the phone, Ben is like, yes, this is corporate. We steal from old people. How can I help you? And the cop's like, yeah, but who is this? And he's like, this is corporate. After this whole first endeavor, Ben goes to Utah to actually talk to the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. Enters Eamon McNeff. If you haven't seen Eamon McNeff yet, he looks like a supervillain. He looks like an evil supervillain, like a mad genius villain. The mustache on this guy is insane.
So here's Eamon and his mustache in all of its glory.
Eamon basically says Ben's lying, he has an excuse for everything, yada, yada, yada. Now, this interaction is really blowing up in Eamon's face because Eamon is going on the news, he's making a bunch of interviews, and he's basically lying, and we have this evidence to prove that he is lying. Now, in the legal litigation of all of this, Ben has realized that a lot of this is not being taken seriously by the police department because it's a civil matter. So he looks for ways to try and make this a criminal matter. And he finds that stealing from a lottery is a very much criminal offense. So using his already registered and pre-existing real religion called Scientology Sucks. He registers for this lottery. He makes this whole thing. He does this time lapse of all the work he did. It's all legitimate. And basically, he goes to a park and he does a raffle, and some family wins, and they go to the Bricks and Minifig store to try and collect the prize, and they don't give it to him, therefore making this a criminal charge, stealing from a lottery. Now, of course, the cops are called again, and at first, the first cop, he's like, you know what? He's right. This is a criminal charge. We do have to do something about this. And then a second cop enters the picture. He whispers to the first cop, and the first cop's tone instantly changes. The second cop doesn't say a fucking word, and yeah, they basically tell Ben, you're trespassed, you gotta go, or you're gonna leave in handcuffs. Now, throughout all of the first video, the cops are called, and they don't really do anything, but the corruption doesn't really happen until part 2. Now, in part 2, the owners of the Bricks and Minifigs franchise that took over basically use the American Fork Police Department as their own little Gestapo for stopping Lego crime. They call the cops on Ben multiple times for false allegations of having heroin. They say he's going to commit a violent act. They say he's going to, go into the store and blow it up. Like, they are absolutely out of their minds. And what's even worse is the cops are just taking these orders like good little boys. Of course. Now, another side of this that I've been seeing in my comment section is how the owners of the Bricks and Minifigs and the CEO, who also has a brother that's in the C-suite, are all Mormon. And the area that this is all going down in is also a heavily populated Mormon area. And while that might be true, I do not condone any hate towards Mormon people or any other group of people. That is unacceptable. Not all Mormons are bad. Not all any of people are bad. Everyone does bad things. You can't just narrow it down to that. However, the aspect of the Mormonism faith being involved in this is being talked about a lot, and it could point to why some of it is happening. And this is not to say that this could not be any other faith or any other ethnic group, because oftentimes when we are segregated or, ostracized or, just different, we stick together with the people we know. Like, this is literally Prison Basics 101. So to see this corruption happen, this could have been literally any other faith. That's my point. And corruption there is, very much so. In part 2 of Reckless Ben's videos, you will see him get pulled over or arrested multiple different times for different things, all at the beck and call of the Bricks and Minifigs owners and the Bricks and Minifigs CEO, basically telling their Lego Gestapo, American Fork Police Department, to go arrest Ben and just, deal with the situation. Ben is pulled over for not obeying a stop sign, which he is very obviously stopped at for like at least 3 seconds in the dash cam footage. They are pulled over for allegedly having heroin on them. They search the whole car. It's a whole 3-hour endeavor. They say, hey, we can go do drug tests. Like, none of us are high. We don't do drugs. Like, what? And nothing comes of it. But, they just got harassed for 3 hours. Ben and his team come up with the plan to take the owners to small claims court and basically do that 10 times over to try and get back some of the money that Brian is owed. Now, to go to small claims court, you have to first make a good faith conversation or attempt at resolving the issue. Obviously, neither of the owners were having that, but you also have to serve the papers. And so when Ben went to go serve the papers, the owners were not accepting the papers at all. This is where the redacted body cam footage starts coming into play. In this interaction, they redact a bunch of stuff regarding the owner, aka the victim in their case. And basically he's just fucking bitching about the whole situation and like basically telling them what to do. At the end of this interaction, they end up arresting Ben for stalking or cyber harassment, one of the two, maybe both, I'm not sure. And finally, they SWAT his Airbnb. I'm sure everyone on the internet in today's age is aware of what swatting is and how dangerous it can be, but if you aren't, it's basically where you call in a false threat to the police department on someone and say, oh yeah, this guy's doing something crazy, and so the police bust into the house, ready for action. They SWAT you. There has been multiple incidents, people have died. It is not a safe or funny thing to do at all. And here we have Bricks and Minifigs doing that to a YouTuber that is just trying to do the right thing and get some money back for this guy that got screwed over. Now, after Ben's first video, this situation went viral. I caught the video at maybe 700, 800,000 views. It is now sitting over 4 million views. For a YouTube video that's over an hour long, that is insane. Not to mention other huge creators like Charlie, Hassan, me, have all been covering this and just putting all this corruption on blast. Just today, Bricks and Minifigs announced that Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson are no longer business partners at Bricks and Minifigs, and they are looking to hopefully make things right with the Mansell family. They have offered to come to the table, but we all know that this is just a attempt to save face. But yeah, that is the overall breakdown story time of the scandal going on between Bricks and Minifigs, Reckless Ben, and the Mansell family. If you guys appreciated that, or you guys want to stay in the loop, follow me for more, comment what you guys think about what's going on.